Okay.
Here's my New York State attorney registration form that I'm completing on December 31st. And after 20 years, actually, yes, it was admitted to the New York Bar in 1999.
And what year is it?
It is December 31st, 2019. So after 20 years, I am now certifying, I'm signing the certification of retirement. I certify that I'm retired from the practice of law as defined in this section and therefore am not required to pay the fee.
So you're no longer going to be paid for your legal services.
Correct. Exactly. So I feel like this is a monumental occasion that we are going to mark with my signature. And today's date is
12/31.
12/31.
2019.
2019. Yay!
Congratulations
Retiring.
for a very long and successful career as an attorney.
A paid attorney.
Love you.
Love you too.
You've done good.
I'm pretty flexible during the week. I can move it around easily. You know, it's not like I have client appointments the way other, regularly employed people do.
Yeah.
So I can
people
be.
with jobs.
Yes, that pesky thing.
They're deporting hundreds and thousands of people every day to either Guatemala or to their countries. So I am of the view everything has to be done one at a time. Everybody thinks class actions and these big, huge movements. I'm more like brass tacks, right? Try to save everybody one at a time. Mm-hmm. And maybe not everybody will get saved that way, but at least you get that many people.
I'm on the bus to the airport so that I can get on the flight tomorrow morning at 6 to Brownsville, Texas, where I will be working with Charlene, doing intakes for clients to evaluate their asylum claims. And I'll be there for about 10 days. Not looking forward to it. It's hard work telling people that they have no chance of success.
I'm so angry.
I'm sorry, what's going on?
They wouldn't let the blind woman through.
That's what you were working on this morning?
Pissed off, yeah. So now we got media on it. We're calling the congressional folks. She's blind. She's blind because she has a parasite. She's got toxoplasmosis. She has not been able to take care of it. She has lost whole retina on her right side. And it's going into her left side. Sí, dime.
Le va a mandar un mensaje
¿Quién?
para que pida a ellos mañana, la abogada Kimberly.
Mañana mi...
A las 11.
No, I'm not doing that.
¿Quién los atendió a ustedes? Richard dice que vino aquí y él le atendió. Richard. Un abogado que se llama
Oh,
Richard.
entonces tiene que hablar con Richard. No. Espérame. So let me get this right. She's got toxoplasmosis. It takes months for treatment to kill the parasite. So she's supposed to go down to Monterey on her own. She's alone. She's 52 years old. And then, oh, wait, we've got to come back to court. Because if she doesn't come back to court, she'll be deported, right? She's an asylum. She qualifies for actual asylum. I am trying to keep up with people here. Actual asylum. She's been here since 2019. But 7 months? What does that say? Okay.
Oh, right. I was starting to tell you about the another Cuban woman, 15 weeks pregnant, 2 previous pregnancies with severe preeclampsia, chronic diabetes, chronic asthma.
It was in October of 2018, the caravan was coming up from Honduras. And they came up a lot faster than people expected. And I remember there being a call out for lawyers to come down to Mexico City because the caravan had made it there. And a lot of lawyers responded, but then there was this one lone person north of Mexico City saying that the caravan's going to pass through there, that she needed assistance, and that there were no other lawyers. Her name was Rebecca.
Charlene and I packed up my VW van, and we're thinking that we're going on a camping trip, right? I'm throwing eggs in and spaghetti, and in addition to Know Your Rights flyers, and we had a big whiteboard, and we had megaphones.
We clicked immediately. The sense of adventure, the sense of, let's just get this done, you know? I had the experience of doing this en masse, and she didn't. But together, we just sort of adjusted around each other, and again, I was enamored by the van.
We didn't know what we were going to expect.
Rebecca jumped up on top of the bus and started tying down blankets and pillows and everything, as many things as she could.
Usted viene con la caravana. Usted estuvieron en pasillas. Hay gente, porque nosotros somos abogados.
¿A dónde vas?
¿A dónde van ahorita?
Ahorita vamos al estadio.
¿A dónde queda?
A la vuelta, creo yo.
¿A la vuelta?
Ajá, como 10-11 kilómetros.
Vale, nos vemos ahí. Okay.
So we turn around, actually we put like 6 people in the van.
Sí. Y ahora vamos a ir al estadio por un día, 2 días que están ahí para orientarles, ¿ok? Sí, puede hablar con nosotros. Somos 2 abogadas, pero viene una más hoy en la noche y hay 3 más que vienen de México.
It was a lot of families and children and babies, people pushing babies in strollers. And these kids were walking across 4 countries over weeks. Trump was describing them as invading mass of people, invaders.
We don't know if they're murderers, if they're killers, if they're MS-13. We're throwing them out by the hundreds.
We had the promise of one other lawyer who's going to come down, and another lawyer who was already in Mexico City was going to join us. With our megaphones, as people started coming in, we just started kind of shouting out, if you have immigration questions, come to us. And then we kind of fanned out among the group.
Her van became a magnet for people to charge their phones. And when they came to charge their phones is when we had the most meaningful discussions with them.
We ended up inviting them into the van, and my van became our mobile legal aid office. We would close the doors, close the curtain, and then they could tell their story with some sort of privacy. I remember there was one boy who had kind of camped out right next to us. We'd set up the van, and he was just sort of hanging out, and he was asking me all these questions like, you know, why are you helping us? And what did you want to grow up to be when you were younger? He was just very deep questions, and as we got to talking, he told me that it was his 18th birthday. And just the unfairness and the injustice of a kid spending his 18th birthday begging for stuff on the road was really hard. At some point, then I had to close the doors to the van and just cry.
What was interesting about the caravan was the organization of the caravan. It was very, they had a group of people who were the leaders, and they were quote unquote democratically elected by their own communities. And they would have meetings and they would discuss where they would go, where they would then tell everybody this is where we're going, and people could voice their opinion. I was pretty impressed because at that point, that caravan was working way better than the government of the United States as far as a democratically elected government.
Es ilegal, es contra las leyes internacionales y contra las leyes americanos. También es contra los derechos humanos y ellos deben que pararlo inmediatamente.
On Sunday, November 10th, 2018, day 2 at the caravan. It's 11:30 p.m. and I'm just finishing one of the hardest days of my life. The migrants are headed to Guadalajara tomorrow and I will go home to San Miguel. How fortunate I am. This was a tough 19-hour day and I can't fathom how the thousands of people around me will keep going. I am physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted. I need some time to process this, the hardest work I've ever done.
And from one day to the other, we were in 2 different places. We couldn't tell if we had spoken to the same people, right? Because there were 5,000 of them. The other thing was just the sheer nature of, we didn't know where our place was. I don't know about you. I didn't know exactly what was my place in this caravan, right? They're going through Mexico. There's all of this stuff going on. There was all the fears, all this hope, which we couldn't stomach because we knew what was on the other side. We knew where they were going. We knew what was going to happen. And in addition to all of that, we had to actually give them legal advice.
At this time was the beginning of child separation.
The Trump administration has continued to separate migrant children from their parents at the southwest U.S. border.
And so we were making sure that parents knew that this was a risk that they were running. We were writing phone numbers and names on children's inner arms and on their backs in Sharpie so that they would have a way to identify the kids.
We were telling them about the military at the border and how dangerous it would be.
From the U.S. side, tear gas fired toward the migrants. Among them, what appeared to be mothers with young children.
The other thing that was happening right at that time was that domestic violence has been a grounds for asylum. It's established law in the United States. And Jeff Sessions said that that wasn't going to qualify. And gang violence also was no longer eligible for asylum.
Also, during the caravan, their goal was not to talk to us. Their goal was to get to the border. So we were in the way. Really, we were in the way.
They didn't want to hear what we had to say.
They did not want to hear what we had to say.
We instituted a series of historic policy changes. This includes the groundbreaking agreement with Mexico known as the Migrant Protection Protocols, or MPP. Under this agreement, if an illegal alien requests asylum, they have to wait in Mexico until their case is heard.
¿Ah? A la barba. Y la pelota amarilla grande, tuya. Guárdenla, porque los niños no saben. Somos una familia de 3, mi hijo Andrea y David. El papá de ellos lo mataron hace 10 años, las pandillas. Uno de los que mataron al papá de mis hijos fue condenado. Y entonces, después de que lo condenaron a él, nos empezaron a amenazar a nosotros y que me iban a matar a mis hijos. Y pues, por miedo, pues nosotros emprendimos camino para acá en agosto, buscando pues protección en Estados Unidos. El camino fue muy duro. Nos secuestraron cuando veníamos. No queríamos volver a México, pero no teníamos opción. Tampoco podemos volver a nuestro país.
Pues no me imaginaba estar aquí. Tuve que dejar todo. Pues quiero seguir estudiando con mi carrera, ser una enfermera y después una doctora y trabajar, ayudar a mi familia, porque gracias a Dios ellos nos han estado apoyando aquí.
So if you can just scan these. What does this say?
No vi.
Oscar,
Sí.
¿quién es este?
El quinto corte.
Eso, la razón es porque no tienen traductores.
Sí.
Esos son indígenas. All right. We'll have to tell them to come on Monday. Oh, you will check it out. Yeah, hold on.
Okay. Yesterday, I met with a Cuban woman who has her individual hearing with the judge on Tuesday morning, and she has an application which is actually more thorough than most people come in here with. Para expresionar mi opinión política. En febrero, el jefe de la policía me dijo que si no me cambian mis pensamientos o mi comportamiento contra el gobierno, sería detenido por 4 años como un peligro a la sociedad. It's complete, it's in English. She's got her supporting evidence that's been translated, but it's kind of poor translations, and there's some parts of her application that aren't quite consistent, and a really important part is that all the dates and everything lines up. When she comes in tomorrow morning, she will have her application, and we'll be ready to present it to the judge on Tuesday. And that's pretty much my priority right now this morning. Once I get done with this, there are 24 people waiting to see an attorney today, and hopefully we can attend to all of them. Hola, buenas tardes, con permiso. Hola.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi nombre es Rebeca.
Nancy.
Nancy, mucho gusto. Me dijeron mis amigos que nunca fui a hablar con las abogadas.
Es que me dijeron que fuera el lunes porque el sábado no sé si trabajan.
Sí, normalmente los fines de semana no.
¿Dónde está el montón de gente se pone afuera?
Sí, sí, exacto. Es directamente aquí, enfrente, al otro lado de las duchas. Sí, pero si quieres comentar, si quieres contar su historia, a ver si podemos hacer una prueba socería ahora. ¿De qué país están?
De El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Nosotros somos bueno, ella es mi hija.
Ajá.
Mi hijo es un gordito que anda por ahí. Somos 3.
Sí.
Él es mi hijo, él.
Hola.
Él y él es mi hijo, son mis hijos. Pues es algo bien difícil y para mí muy doloroso porque no les puedo dar la seguridad que yo quiero para mis hijos.
Sí.
Aquí tampoco es muy seguro. Y pues ya tuve la primer corte.
¿Y cuándo es la próxima?
El 2 de marzo. Mis cuñados buscaron una abogada en Estados Unidos, pero ella vino solo el día de la corte. El día que tenía la corte vino, solo me dijo que firmar unos papeles. Hablaba en inglés, no español.
¿La abogada no habla español?
No. No sé qué le dijo, no sé qué pasó, solo que ella me dijo.
¿Y ella no traduzca nada, no dice nada?
No.
Entonces, con los hechos que me han contado, no vas a ganar un caso, no está elegible para asilo y las cosas, recibieron las amenazas, mataron a su esposo, lo siento mucho, no califica para los dos programas que existen. No vas a ganar su caso en los Estados Unidos.
Y pues, como le digo, no es lo que quizás yo esperaba escuchar porque...
Sí, yo sé, y lo siento que debe que decirle eso.
Porque yo pues tenía una esperanza que tal vez...
Sí, lo siento mucho.
Que tal vez pudiera pues... que me dieran la oportunidad. Pues no puedo regresar a El Salvador por mis hijos. Si regreso pues sería la muerte para ellos.
Asylum law wasn't intended just to protect people against generalized violence. Just because a country is falling apart, that's not a good enough reason that people will be offered protection in international or U.S. domestic law. Because of the way asylum law was established after World War II, they envisioned governments harming people for very specific reasons, for your race, your religion, your nationality, your political opinion, and then they threw in this catch-all group of membership in a particular social group.
Yeah. It's like,
You'll
what's
be
the
back
point?
in a few hours.
I know. Well, who knows? So tomorrow morning, we have to go, I have to be on the bridge at 9:30.
For the blind
For
woman?
Jodalis. And so what I'm going to do is I have to contact all sorts of people today. And I'm going to try to get on the bridge by like 9:15.
Okay.
But what you have to do is, there's going to be a shitload of people tomorrow.
Okay.
Always, Mondays are I really appreciate you guys coming here on a Sunday, though.
Yeah,
I just was desperate.
Yeah, no, thank you for...
Yeah. When we're down here, it feels so lonely, right? We're so far south. And it's so, you feel like you're alone.
Melescano, ¿nos puede decir un poco sobre pues, su razón para estar aquí pidiendo asilo de los Estados Unidos?
Actually, let's not do the she's not yet gone on her case, so
okay.
Let's not ask her anything about asylum. Can we just leave it to the disability? Sure. Thank you, sorry.
The people in the street is demanding the end of the dictatorship.
Arresting protesters, dragging them off. Hundreds swept up, still in prison, according to human rights groups.
She's been on the bridge 5 times. And when they've had 4 or 5 opportunities to determine her vulnerability.
Dios mío, dame fuerza para tomar una decisión y ya salir de esto. Pero cuando veo todo esto, digo, yo tengo que llegar con mis hijos, tengo que conocer a mi nieto, tengo que hacerlo. Tengo que volver a tocar a mi hijo, aunque sea tocarlo, aunque no lo ve.
This is why I came to the media. This is why I've reached out to everybody to please call the port director to do the right thing. It is inhumane. First of all, MPP is cruel. But despite all of that, I'm bringing on the bridge someone who is so medically necessary to get some care. There are people waiting to give her that care.
And when do you plan to go out there again?
I'll be there on Monday, possibly Tuesday. I will be there. And I hope that people will call in, and I hope that your viewership, but everybody in this country needs to be woke on this issue. She's going blind. You couldn't get more vulnerable. ¿Tú vas a poder traerla la mañana o alguien más?
Mañana Coco viene.
Coco viene.
Sí, Coco viene.
Okay. Okay.
Ya yo caeré acá sobre las 11 o 12 del día.
Ándale, sí. Listo. Oh my goodness, what a show this is.
How do you keep doing this every day?
You know, it just me off. And now I'm just like, no, you're not gonna say no to me. My parents were raised during the Indian independence movement at a time where the Indian persona was so belittled by the British government, by the British Empire. And my mom tells stories about how she and her friends would just get out into these neighborhoods and do stuff against the Brits because they were mad. They wanted independence. And she was 13 years old when India got the independence, but as a 7 and 8-year-old, she was around dancing in the streets, trying to, you know, do the best she could because she wanted to set the narrative. And, you know, it is stories like that. I'm like, damn, you were under the thumb of the British Empire? Come on, we can do this.
About how many African migrants or black migrants are around there?
All of us are black.
Just a little idea.
Okay, like.
In general, in Tijuana that you run into. 40.
Like 40?
I want to tell you that the advice that I'm giving you today is just my opinion and my helping you to prepare for how to get ready for the interview if you're able to reach an immigration officer, a U.S. immigration officer, but it's not legal advice, okay? Thank you, my guidance.
Thank you. Okay? Yes, Anna.
Okay. The people that I wanted to reach out the most and be able to assist were African migrants or black migrants coming into Mexico and not being able to have any type of assistance. They were stuck in a country that they did not know the language. They were singled out and can easily be singled out as not belonging to that particular country. And I felt that they needed somebody who could come and listen to them and try to give them the support that I could give them. So today, what I'm trying to help you guys is to understand if you get a chance to be able to reach an immigration officer in the United States, and if you are being interviewed, how to be able to express your case. Or how to be able to express your fear, okay? Yes. Because even though there could be so many different reasons that everybody is here, the most important thing that the officer wants to hear is why you are coming into the United States, why you left your country, and what happened to you in your country, or what you're afraid will happen to you if you were to be returned to your country, okay?
Munasiam, me the whole world lost she. How is it happen for our life? They want to kill all we. They want to kill all we.
This is the village of Kukembomo in Cameroon being burnt to the ground. For months now, images like these have been pouring out of Cameroon on social media. Some show burning villages, others record acts of torture and killing.
I'm 26 years of age, born 20th June 1994. I'm the son of Nincho Jonathan and Nincho Teresa. We are 7 in number, and I'm the only boy. Many people knew my value, what I learned in school, so I configured many phones, and I had a lot of clients, and my business was really booming. My business was really moving smoothly. But now it gets to that point where military officers visit our shop on a daily basis. So when they asked me, I told them, I'm not a member of Southern Cameroon National Council. I'm not a member. I'm just a sympathizer, like any other Southern Cameroonian. They said I'm a terrorist, that they want financially separatist fighters in Cameroon. They beat me onto a point I went unconscious. So when I woke up now, when I was unconscious, they were actually laughing.
I'm angry because it is unnecessary, completely unnecessary. I'm working within their illegal law. I'm working within their draconian MPP. I'm working within their own vulnerable exception. And they don't feel like they have to follow the law, their own law. It's because, you know, laws are to be followed, right? They want everybody to follow the law and not jump into the United States, not cross illegally, and yet they don't follow their own law. I've gotten 3 deaf people across with a fight, but they acknowledge that that was a disability. Why? Why is a person who's blind being treated differently? No answer. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go. So we got called back. So la otra abogada me dijo para traerla otra vez. Es decir, que ellos quieren hablar conmigo. So vamos a pasar aquí. Y, ok, lo siento. Ha pasado así antes. Sí. Sí. This is what they want. You know, it's like ridiculous. This is what they want. They want theater. I went quietly the first time, right? First couple times, I was quiet about it. Hi, I'm Charlene de Cruz, and this is Jodi Mendoza Lescano. Okay. I have my passport.
Fine.
Okay.
We know who you are.
Tengo miedo que ahora, si me entran, la tomen conmigo.
Sí, esto es definitivo. Y yo voy a hablar con ellos, porque sí, ellos van a llevarle adentro y usted va a estar sola. Pero usted tiene mi teléfono y yo voy a dejar mi teléfono y yo voy a esperar, sea todo el día, para que le suelte a mí. Voy a pedir, pero no es que no sé qué van a hacer.
Yes, my name is Carla Barber. I'm a United States citizen, and I'm calling about a woman who is on the Gateway Bridge. She is going blind from a condition called toxoplasmosis. And she's presenting herself at the bridge to be entered into the United States. And we'd really like to get the port director or the assistant port director's attention to come help with this case. Okay, thank you. I am the 50th or 60th person who was called.
All right, let's keep it
So
up.
keep it up, keep it up.
Señora, su aplicación es negada.
We were denied again, which is just ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. They have a blind person who's in the system, and they've known about this since August. But it's the fight they want, because they're emboldened. They are emboldened by this administration. They're emboldened by the fact that they can get away with this. They have been allowed to be cruel. So we can't just sit by. We can't. Our democracy, our courts, everything are at stake here. We cannot just, we just can't sit by and watch this whole thing crash and burn. So.
I later on moved to the village. Where in the village, I spent most time with my father, because my father actually was a cattle rearer, so he was always with his cattle, always happy. I saw the military officers actually talking with my dad. When I saw these people, I knew they came for me. I could not go to the house. They were actually asking, where is Martin? Where is Martin? Where is that terrorist? My father actually said, I don't know where he is. He asked again, like really loudly, where is Martin? My father said he doesn't know. One of the officer that was actually in the car just came out and said, "This man is wasting our time." And he just shot my dad. Like nothing. Just like an animal. So when my uncle came, my uncle actually told me, "There is no way you can stay in Cameroon. There is no way. You have to leave."
So vamos a empezar con como una orientación general para que puedan entender cómo es la corte y qué es lo que pueden esperar, porque cada día las cosas están cambiando. Una semana voy y si gano un caso, pues la gente sale en 40 minutos y libre y no hay ningún problema. La otra semana voy y ganan y están detenidos por 3 días, 7 días y salen con grillete. As soon as family separation ended, as a family, I would take my children and go play and give a little bit of respite and a good meal to the refugees that were waiting on the bridge.
¿Cómo está mi vida? ¿Cómo está, papi? Ay, Daddy.
And that worked out until they all found out I was a lawyer. What people really had a hunger for certainly was a good meal, but they also had a hunger for information. And they wanted to have their questions about the legal process answered. I would walk into Mexico and I would cross the bridge. I'd stand in the sun and I would give these workshops with, literally like a wet do-rag on my head because it was so hot. Trying to get people to understand what would happen when they go to the bridge, what would happen when they have their first court, what is asylum law, how can they tell their story. So people want to get close enough so they can hear, so people would push together and they would get close around me and they would surround me. And for someone who's been diagnosed with PTSD, that is not a good situation. And it went on like that for another couple of months of being a street lawyer. Legitimately practicing law in the street.
Ella hace una buena pregunta y mi respuesta es no me rindo, ni tampoco los abogados que están litigando, no nos rindamos.
It's important to note that Matamoros is not the safest place in the world.
A media blackout south of the border. This during 8 hours of intense combat in Matamoros.
The reality is that because of the inconvenience of MPP, it's pretty crappy that you have to go to another country that's a war zone to see your clients. That's not really how you thought that you would practice law 25 years into being a lawyer, but there's not a lot of lawyers that are willing to do it. Entonces, tenemos que estar preparados, ustedes mentalmente, para todo el panorama de lo que puede pasar. Todo lo que es como una oportunidad de decir tu historia, de qué es lo que había pasado. Ok, so hemos repasado. Tranquilo. No, créeme. Sara y yo oramos, meditamos, hagamos manos a tranquilizar. No solo a usted, pero a nosotros también. Porque usted no sabe la carga es que usted nos ponen porque tiene mucha fe, para que podamos terminar el testimonio en la primera hora. Y luego, en teoría, el fiscal va a tener más o menos 1 hora para hacer su contrainterrogación. La idea de una contrainterrogación es para ver las inconsistencias, para ver puntos que necesita aclarar. Tomando eso en mente, es muy importante que ya cuando vamos a dar el testimonio, y yo le puedo decir algunas preguntas desde ahorita, generalmente, que por seguro le van a preguntar a todos. Eso es la pregunta. ¿Cómo pudiste salir? Esa es una de las preguntas favoritas de ellos, especialmente para los venezolanos y los cubanos. La otra pregunta que siempre hagan es, ¿por qué no fuiste a otra parte de su país? Okay, pero buena respuesta. La respuesta es obvio, es obvio. Especialmente en sus casos. La persecución viene por parte del gobierno. Del mismo gobierno.
Del mismo.
Entonces, ¿cómo?
Nicolás Maduro, presidente de toda Venezuela.
De toda Venezuela.
Es algo ilógico.
Entonces, la respuesta es, no puedo ir a ningún otro lugar porque en todo el país controla el mismo gobierno. ¿Cómo voy a escapar del mismo gobierno si voy a otra parte del país?
Detention in Mexico City, and an immigration detention for 2 months. So, well, 50 days. So she's been on the road since April. Well, I really, really appreciate it, Rose. And then I'll tell you all about the restaurant. Yeah.
In late July of last year, migrants seeking asylum at our border began to be processed under the Migrant Protection Protocol, or MPP. But just who is exempted from MPP is up to a CBP policy and discretion by the port director. Living in a world of haze and shadows is leaving Yodalis Mendoza feeling desperate. In this plastic zipper bag, she carries her last hope.
Mi nieto, mi nieta, y esta la hice para mí.
It's a parasite that pretty much has eaten away her retina in her right eye and is now eating up the retina in her left eye.
4 times, including once today, the Cruz asked CBP to exempt Mendoza from MPP. CBP denied the request each time.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Shoot. Hello? Guys, we gotta get her. They're gonna parole her. Yay! Okay. I just got done with dinner and we're still close to the border, so we're gonna drive over and I'm gonna ask them to bring her to the border. I was about to drown myself in margaritas, so this is good. It's good. Well, it's good for my liver, right? We'll see you there in like 15 minutes and I'm gonna call her right now. Okay, thank you. Later. Mira, la inmigración, ellos me llamaron, van a soltarle a Jodi si ella podría venir al puerto. Van a soltarle. Sí, tiene que traerla otra vez. Sí. Para atrás. Y yo le voy a encontrar ahí. Y ella tiene que subir en el puente. Oh my God. I have been so... I was about to tell you guys, you know what? I just want to go cry.
They're processing her. I'm asking, are you in secondary? If everything goes well, then maybe she'll be on a plane tomorrow to see her family. So it's good. Hola. Los nietos también.
I have to get one for you.
Right here. Yeah, they're gonna take a picture. You got your camera?
This is my little...
I know, I've seen these. You need to get in there, Charlene.
Mi amor.
When I turned 10 in Ethiopia, the new government that overthrew the Haile Selassie's regime was going after a lot of the people that it felt were working for the previous government.
Moscow had a new ally, Colonel Mengistu Haile Mariam.
My family was one of the families that was being targeted. And my sister was arrested, she was also tortured, and a lot of persecution occurred at that time to my family. It was a situation where you always felt at home you were very insecure, you didn't know who was listening in, you don't know if you're going to be alive the next day. We would see a road filled with corpse or people that were killed. And I remember those days growing up with my mother covering our eyes so that we don't see the dead bodies. I think that's where my passion came for being able to have refuge and not be afraid in their lives.
Credible fear doesn't mean a foolproof or a full showing of asylum. It's just showing a little bit to be able to get to the stage of a judge looking at your case. So the most important thing to be able to show is if you're not safe where you are, showing why you're not safe. Okay? If you're not safe or you don't feel you haven't been safe in Mexico, then you have to be able to express why you weren't safe or what happened to you in Mexico. Now is the time to really sit down and reflect and to say, okay, this happened to me in my country. Try to have a little quiet time, each one of you for yourselves, and to put down on paper what happened to you so that you recall everything and the dates so that you're able to tell the officers, okay? So take this time to really do that.
Okay, madam. Thank you so much, madam.
And I pray to God that you're all safe. I will pray for you always. I really hope that you're going to find safety and comfort when you come into the United States. And I hope you find refuge, okay? Be strong, okay? And let me know if there's anything more I can help you.
Okay, madam.
Okay.
Thank you so much, madam.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, you don't talk. If I ask you, say, what type of fruit is?
It's a peaceful protest.
Okay. So tell me what happened in the next arrest of the thing.
It's the 3rd of June 2019.
Okay, what happened on the 3rd of June 2019?
They came to arrest me because I was participating in the parade on 23rd May.
Did you talk about that parade again?
On 23rd May 2019, while I was in our house, the government had passed an announcement that everyone, all the youth must participate in the 23rd May, which 23rd May in Cameroon is the day for a reunification of the French and the English Cameroon. And because I was an English speaker, an English Cameroonian, and not in support of what the government was doing to the English people, I did not go for the march past. The government sent the military arresting all the youth who did not participate. Since I was one of them, the military stormed our house. They said we were one of those supporting the separatists, and everyone in support of the separatists must die.
Bloody clashes in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon and West Africa have rapidly morphed into a war, and sexual assault and rape are becoming weapons against women in the Anglophone community.
And the officer threatened me that if I'm caught and ever seen in Cameroon again, he's not going to be responsible and I'll be killed.
And once COVID came, just everything went crazy. I had a somewhat seamless transition because I was already remote. What was hard was how to talk to the clients. So we trained Oscar, and Oscar is amazing.
Buenos días. Hola, buenos días. Necesito
apoyo legal para mi solicitud de asilo en Estados Unidos.
La abogada está trabajando, haciendo los trabajos de asesoría y de ayuda con la petición de asilo mediante internet.
We would get information about clients so fast. What was amazing about him is how he started identifying people with special needs. So I started explaining to him about how I did disability law, how I'm a special ed teacher. He lived in the camp. He knew everybody. That's how I found most of my vulnerable asylum seekers, his eyes.
Ha pasado mucha gente para allá con enfermedades y pues ella es la que les ha ayudado. Hay mucha gente agradecida con ella.
It is, what's today's date, do you know?
7th?
7th, it's Tuesday or Wednesday?
Thursday? I have no idea.
It's a day, and I am making masks for people because soon we're thinking that masks might be mandatory. Yet, people continue to have to present at immigration courts. Asylum seekers continue to be detained in unhygienic, cramped conditions, and people are going to die from that. The people living in the camps are still in the camps, and once the virus hits there, it's going to be horrible.
Okay.
That's it. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Por allá está el otro rotoplas. Este es un sistema para estarle dando mantenimiento a los rotoplas, estarlos ingeniando, echándole para las bacterias. Como pueden ver, este es un jabón con cloro, líquido con cloro.
I have been here since September and pretty much working every day of the week trying to just keep on top of the 2,000 plus asylum seekers in the camp and 20,000 plus people who were shunted off to Matamoros. We're going to see more victimization, like really bad victimization based on just the COVID-19. So it's a real critical, it's a crisis. It's a crisis of humanity.
Escape to Ecuador. From Ecuador, I worked with some Cubanos where they had maps. And from Ecuador, went through Colombia. From Colombia, went through Panama, which we went through the Darien Forest. It was a very terrible experience for me because we had to go through the jungle for 7 days. The second day in the jungle, we had no food. We met some armed robbers. The robbers, they took everything from us. So went through Costa Rica. From Costa Rica, we were issued a pass to go to Nicaragua. We're taken to Honduras. From Honduras, we finally arrived at Mexico. I was unable to reach to my mom since I left Cameroon. I could not reach to my dad. The police here in Mexico, they harassed me again while I was in Tijuana. They took everything I had. They seized my purse. They threatened me in the night. There was nobody to help me again. The only way my uncle said was to try and come to the United States where I could find safety.
Today I'm headed to Albergue ABA, which is a migrant shelter in Celaya. They consult me on like legal aspects of cases if they have a complicated issue, if they have more vulnerable people. So right now there's a young man, a 23-year-old Honduran man who is at the shelter with his 3-year-old niece who has microencephaly. I believe she's blind, she's unable to walk, she cries a lot, and he is taking her to the United States for medical treatment. Hi, hola. ¿Está feliz ahora?
Pero anoche más bien que no, casi no durmió porque siempre así se pone porque...
Estoy aquí porque hablé con Charlene, la abogada en la frontera, que me dijo que sí, en cualquier momento usted puede entrar en los Estados Unidos, que están ofreciendo entrada para la gente vulnerable y por supuesto ella es vulnerable. La cosa que hablamos la otra vez es que una vez que entran, como tú no eres su papá, van a separarlos y no hay manera de evitar eso. Que seguramente si entras, van a separarlos.
Pero no voy a ser deportado.
No.
Sí, eso es lo que no quiero.
Ella no va a ser deportada. No estoy seguro lo que vas a pasar contigo. In Mexico, there is a train line. Migrants have historically ridden on top of the trains. It's called La Bestia, the Beast. It's a really long cargo train, and it's a free way to get to the border. In an instant, people can fall from the train and suffer an amputation.
¿Quieres salir?
Hola, Rebeca. Mucho gusto. Giselle. ¿Cuántos años tiene Giselle? 20. ¿Pasó en el tren? ¿Se cayó del tren?
Sí, en busca de mí. Yo estaba en Saltillo trabajando y cuando ella se vino y todo.
Sí. ¿Duele mucho?
Sí.
Lo siento. ¿Y cuándo pasó? ¿Cuándo tuvo tu accidente?
El 18 de noviembre.
De noviembre.
Ella me da bastante fuerza a mí porque yo casi no tenía fuerza, me desmayaba mucho y ella me hacía videollamadas todavía partida.
Eres bien fuerte y bien valiente. It's the hardest when I put myself in their place. I have an 18-year-old girl. I have to kind of not let my brain go there. Because then I would just sit there crying with the people, and that's not helpful to anybody. So.
Beginning at midnight, restrictions on non-essential travel into the United States go into effect on the southern border with Mexico, similar to the one already enacted with the Canadian border, all in an attempt to curb the spread of coronavirus.
But let me ask you this. Internacho's delivery the why not you?
It's completely stopped my ability to do my border work. At this time, anything that we've been able to provide to a lot of the migrants that are stuck outside of the United States are blocked, and we are also unable to go and to help or prepare them because of the COVID-19. We just don't even have a time frame to tell them as to when things will resume for them to be able to come into the U.S. and seek asylum or present their case, because none of us know.
The motor namin ni Minyokam. Right now, where are you going to?
I'm going to the United States. I'm a bit tense because I don't yet know what's ahead of me. But I trust God. I know He's going to make a way for us.
Do you know what you are going to expect in France?
I don't.
Do you know they are going to jump?
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
And do you know what happened to you?
I don't yet know what's
You
ahead
are
of
going
me.
to jump on a big fence. Do you know that?
Yeah, but I know it's not too hectic. It's not so high that way.
Do you know that you need to climb somewhere and go down and go down?
Oh, are you serious?
Okay, but you know the borders are closed right now, so how do you intend to do? Do you know what you're going to face in front?
Not really, but I just know what I'm going to face in front and I'll be capable to handle.
Bye-bye. See you. You man, later man.
Yes.
No problem, my baby. No problem. No problem. Okay. Go.
You want garlic?
No, that's like too late now. Let me see how spicy they are. Yeah, it's not that spicy.
Good. Dad, you want to call the kids?
Yep.
My dad was born in a refugee camp in Germany. The Russians came through and his family was forced to flee with whatever they could carry. And when he was 9, he and my grandparents and a couple of his siblings got on a boat and traveled to the U.S. My mom is from Hong Kong. When my dad was stationed in Vietnam, my mom was an English student and she needed a English-speaking pen pal, so she wrote a letter to the USO. Dear any soldier, care of the USO, and my dad was a mail clerk. And he saw this aerogram from Hong Kong that looked interesting, so he pulled it out and they started writing to each other. I'm the only person in my family born in the US, and so that had a big influence on me as far as career-wise. You know, I wanted to, it seemed like it was a way to pay back somehow just the luck of my family being able to land in the United States.
We should not be locking people up. We should be making sure we change the circumstance, as we did, why they would leave in the first place. And those who come seeking asylum, we should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
Do you have a plan to reunite the kids?
Yes, we're working on it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
These 500 plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with.
Joseph R. Biden Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 232 votes.
I saw one woman in tears. She told me that she was a desperation because her family was from Mexico.
Yeah.
And she says it was a long fight. And she says she wants to hold Biden accountable and make sure he delivers on his promises and specifically a pathway to citizenship for DACA recipients.
You've been involved in advising him, Charlene? Have you been? I've been on some of the transition team meetings, you know. I mean, I know it's not even been 24 hours, but frankly, you've had, you know what the Trump administration did. You've had almost 2 months to formulate a plan. One of the most draconian, cruel, policies ever, and you still don't have a plan?
Here in Texas, residents are experiencing some of the worst winter weather of their lives. 2 major storms hitting the state in the last 5 days and another one on the way.
Pueden ver cómo está el hielo en todas las carpas, ha caído. Necesitamos que las ayuden, nos duelen, tenemos dormidas los huesos, nos duelen los huesos de estar aquí ya. Por favor, necesitamos que los ayuden para poder salir de este lugar. Esto es lo que informamos en el campamento de migrantes. Estamos congelados. Son temperaturas que si estuviéramos en condiciones...
Fox News alert now on the showdown over immigration. The rolling back of a major Trump administration program is about to play out on the southern border. Starting today, tens of thousands of asylum seekers waiting in Mexico will now be allowed into the U.S. to be processed and have their cases heard.
Somos parte de un grupo que es el Comité de Bienvenida del Valle del Río Grande. Es una colaboración de organizaciones ONG que están sirviendo a la comunidad migrante de ambos lados. Y hoy estuvimos ahí en el campamento como representantes legales para poder ayudar en el proceso del papeleo que tiene que ser para poder entrar a los Estados Unidos. Ya todos han tenido su prueba de COVID y todos son negativos. No dejan pasar nadie que es positivo.
Fue un año, como les decía, de mucho dolor, mucha angustia. Fue un año para todos los que estamos acá en este campamento. Fue un año de mucha angustia, tristeza, dolor. Pasamos otra Navidad aquí. Mis hijos perdieron 2 años de estudio y llevan 2 años perdidos. Aunque todos nos decían que no, que el caso estaba perdido, que nosotros lo íbamos a pasar, en nuestro corazón guardábamos una esperanza. Y hoy podemos decir, valió la pena la espera. Estoy feliz, más que todo por mis hijos, porque vamos a salir de este lugar. Este presidente que está, pues nos dio la oportunidad de entrar y pues esperamos no defraudar, primero no defraudar a Dios ni al presidente, sino que ser buenas personas allá, trabajar y mis hijos estudiar y ser agradecidos por todas las cosas, y yo le doy gracias a Dios, a todos.
¿Ya tienen todo, muchachos?
Don't tell me that. I refuse to be happy. I'm not, 100% happy, but I'm never. So I'm glad that the U.S. government is doing what it can, but there's got to be more.
Yeah, I think it's a 180-degree turn from last year. No, I feel a lot better now because at least we have some hope that things will keep getting better. I mean, this is certainly a historic day, to end the nightmarish human rights violation that happened right at our border. I mean, I feel a lot better. I'm not going to retire. I was going to retire if Trump was reelected. Yeah, I would have had to choose a different career. I don't know what, but I would figure something out. Yeah.
Now it's only open cases. The people who have closed cases, they got screwed by a very unjust, cruel system. Patience is what they tell me to have. So hard. Ok. A ver, gracias.
Dame la mano. Y que me haga como una actriz, así como una actriz, ¿sabes? Llegamos, Andrea. Un abrazo. Llegamos. Vámonos. Oye, eso llegamos, mira. Ay, no me gusta fingir. Solo para las mentiras. Lloré. Yo no voy a llorar. Solo decir. Ya lloramos. Sí, yo de verdad lloro.
People with final orders aren't allowed in. And that's where my heart breaks, because our lovely Oscar is one of those. What's hard is that he too is an asylum seeker. He did everything right, you know. He went to his hearings, he lost. Like most people did, but with a less than 0.5% approval rate. And he being Honduran, they just don't really care about what's going on in Honduras.
10 de febrero. 10 de febrero, pues en Honduras la situación está bien difícil.
The beauty of this country, of over 9 million people, has been shadowed by rampant violence and corruption, causing a mass exodus to our southern border.
No puedo regresar. Me tengo que volver a venir. No puedo estar ahí. Pues porque me persiguen. El gobierno está en una muy buena relación con el crimen organizado. Y pues es muy peligroso.
I know that people who are getting through will get through. I think in these days it's been more for me about Oscar, and I know he's one person, but it's been about him.
So we're headed back to Albergue Aba, to the migrant shelter in Celaya, to speak with one of the residents, the young girl who fell off the train. At the current moment, there's no, the border remains closed to asylum seekers with very small exceptions for especially vulnerable people. We have Charlene at the border working on the legal portion of it. We're also going to do just a very cursory evaluation to make sure that she is qualified, that her case qualifies for asylum.
¿Cuándo llegaste aquí? No me recuerdo.
Ya voy a cumplir un año.
Ay.
Aquí en el albergue ya voy a cumplir un año.
Quiero confirmar que usted van a buscar asilo en los Estados Unidos.
Sí.
Los requisitos es que usted ha sufrido o tiene un temor de sufrir algún daño o amenaza en su país por un grupo que puede ser el gobierno o un grupo que el gobierno no puede controlar. En su ejemplo, en su caso, probablemente vas a ser las maras, sí. No es fácil ganar asilo, que usted debe que buscar una abogada que pueda ayudarle de este proceso de asilo. ¿Qué formas de documentos de identificación tienen ahora? ¿Tienen su
residencia?
Ajá. ¿Tienen un pasaporte hondureño?
No. Yo perdí todo. Cuando tuve mi accidente, pues perdí todo. No, cuando llegó la ambulancia, pues no recogieron todas mis cosas. No tengo fotos así de mi accidente. Así.
Ay, gosh.
Llevo 5 operaciones por todo.
5. Pero ojalá que seguimos adelante, ¿no?
Así es. Siempre adelante y pues siempre estoy luchando. Aquí me dan muchas oportunidades como de tocar el piano, de leer partituras así, de hacer cualquier cosa, de tejer, de hacer cartas. Aquí lo apoyan mucho en eso, la verdad.
I got bodies right in front of me here.
While I got into the United States through Arizona, I handed myself to the Border Patrol at the fence. I was taken to the very cold room. I stayed there for 3 days. And I was transferred to another camp. I was interviewed by an ICE officer. Why I'm coming to the United States. I told him I'm coming for protection and safety. And while in the camp, I got information that my father was killed by the military. I was taken to a room all by myself. I suffered all the trauma. I stayed in the camp for over 3 months. A bond was issued and I went out on bond.
Oh, God. I don't want to cry.
What we don't need to.
Today I'm going to be going into Tijuana for the first time since March of 2020. So after about a year and a half. So I'm going to really go out there and see what it's like now with this new administration and what has changed. And if things have really started picking up at the border and people being allowed to come into the country, or what is it really like out there?
Porque de otra manera les parece que bueno, pues no está tan mal y ya no te dejan pasar.
So what was their question? What were they saying though, mainly?
Oh, that most of the organizations that work with migrants here in Mexico have preference with people from El Salvador, and also because some of the organizations are directed from people from Central America. Even San Ysidro or San Diego, that's 15 minutes from here, they don't know what's happening down here. They really don't know. They think that everything's all right, or it's like kind of messy, but not as messy as it is. Most of the cases I take are when the aggressor is a policeman or somebody from organized crime, because are the hardest cases, and most people are not prepared to attend them. We don't have a safe place for women who are threatened by organized crime. Also, I attend missing people, where the missing person are young guys or women, because most of them are taken into trafficking.
É sempre buscar os outros, e nos outros que são haitianos, nos outros não sei se é com discriminação ou se não por assunto de racista, não sei por quê.
Sí.
Wow. How are you?
I'm fine.
Where are you from?
I'm from Haiti.
Haiti. Okay, nice. But when you say you want to cross, how are people here going to be able to cross? Is there numbers?
Well, there is a link that where you sign up, and they call every day. They help mostly the white people.
The Latin American countries and not really the black migrants.
The black. Yo soy haitiano. Yo soy haitiano, sí.
Haiti?
Yeah, Haiti.
Oh, so many people from Haiti.
The streets of Port-au-Prince have become a war zone as gangs battle each other and police for control of the city. Brutal killings and home invasions have left residents of the Haitian capital living in terror.
Where are you coming from?
Los Angeles.
LA.
¿Cómo?
Los Angeles.
No, su nombre.
Oh, Tu nombre? Oh, Mulu, M-U-L-U.
My brother tell me so I can talk into you.
Oh, I'm not. I'm here actually trying to find out the situation. I'm not with American immigration or anything. I'm a lawyer trying to help. Yeah.
Why Haitian people is here, and every white people gone.
Yeah.
It's easy,
Yeah.
and Asian people is very difficult to
Difficult
go
to
over.
pass. Right now, I'm just trying to understand what's going
Ella
on.
lo que está tratando de hacer es saber qué es lo que está pasando.
So maybe next time when I come back,
Y la próxima vez que venga vamos a tener.
maybe I try to have a little guidance.
Y andate, no deja carpa ni tiene zipper, le digo, va que se para más rápido se meta el tipo, no. Bien que se anda metiendo en las carpas.
And I'm afraid that nobody's really giving legal advice to them. They just know they're waiting, but they don't know what they're waiting for. They just have a message in their cellular phones telling them to wait, to be in the camps, to be unsafe in the camps, because a lot of women told us that in the night, the guys try to open the tents to rape them. So that's why the families of the women with children stay in the tents together. The tents are so close one to another. Also, we know there are big trucks coming into the camp and taking girls from the camp for human trafficking.
I didn't expect to see, a whole lot of migrants that are not able to still go into the United States. So the desperation that I saw has been disheartening. I was so happy seeing a change of administration, and I thought I was going to come and see a much better humanitarian situation at the border, but I didn't see that. I actually found it to be a situation that seems even worse.
This morning, a 24/7 mission on the Texas border. A group of migrants, most from Haiti, spilling onto the shoreline beneath a border bridge. Thousands of men, women, and children waiting days in triple-digit heat for their chance to claim asylum. The Department of Homeland Security sending 400 additional Border Patrol agents and resuming deportation flights to Haiti within the next 48 hours.
It is December 2021, and for the last 6 weeks or so, groups of Haitian migrants have been arriving from Tapachula. They're dispersing them to 10 different immigration offices throughout Mexico in order for them to receive their humanitarian visas.
Mi primo que vive allá en
Juárez. Juárez.
Sí.
Ay. Las ciudades en la frontera, usted sabe que son peligrosos. Sí, es muy dangereux. Les vies de la frontière sont très, très dangereux.
La verdad es que creo que también a las autoridades les cayó de sorpresa. ¿A qué vienen aquí? Llegaron de repente, tú estabas en la terminal de camiones y veías un montón de gente extraña que tampoco sabía qué estaba haciendo aquí. En las últimas 70 personas, solo había 3 personas que hablaban español. No había uno solo que hablara inglés. Todos hablaban francés.
En este momento también, cuando llegan los haitianos, escuché que una compañía de los autobuses no quiere vender un boleto a la familia porque era su política de no vender boletos a migrantes. Y en ese momento me dio cuenta que estas personas necesitan saber qué son sus derechos con esta visa humanitaria.
No hablan el idioma, no conocen sus derechos. O sea, la tarjeta que les están dando es que les están dando la oportunidad de quedarse en el país, pero no conoce nadie sus derechos. Pero México sí es muy racista y sí van a tener problemas, sí.
Something that was basically to that effect, that they're not firmly resettled. Just with the
Okay, so what are you going to tell them today then?
So the whole point was mainly, what their rights are in Mexico, but with prefacing it by
I know you probably want to go to the States, and you should know that the border is closed. The border still is closed. Even if you have, if you're fleeing a harm and you want to apply for protection, you can't at the border. And this is where it gets tricky. If you get across the border, then you can apply.
I mean, there's a fine line, encouraging people to cross the border illegally. But we know, as a practical matter, that that's the better route to success.
Right. I think the way that I overcome that is saying you're probably gonna be tempted. This is what if you're caught. This is what and it's totally random because we don't know what's happening. That if you get caught, you could be sent back to Mexico or you could be sent back to Haiti.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing now, right?
Oh man, right. They did that with all the people in Del Rio.
Right. Hola. Avec vous seulement pour que j'ai écouté que les gens ne savaient pas de leurs droits. Vous avez le visa humanitaire du Mexique maintenant, oui? Toutes vous avez le document qui les permet d'habiter en Mexique. Oui. Et avec cette visa, vous pouvez habiter, travailler, votre enfant peuvent aller à l'école.
Alors même au niveau de l'éducation, je ne peux pas l'aider.
Si moi, personnellement, peux vous aider? No.
Que quiere vivir aquí. Entonces, después de información que yo encuentra que aquí está muy peligroso para todo inmigrante que vive por aquí, se está tirando la casa, que entonces más adelante que puede tener un problema.
Mais il y a beaucoup de décisions que vous devez tomar, non?
De prendre.
De prendre, oui.
Mais nous étions en train de learn, apprendre beaucoup de vous.
Ouais. Something like feeling useless.
I know. What can you do for me? Nothing.
What are you here for?
Yeah,
just
we
to
know
tell
this.
you.
Yeah.
I wish there was more to say.
Us, yeah.
Well, I came down here to do MPP work, and now with MPP ending, I have to change focus. Well, basically, what our goal is to assess the situation down here. We have thousands of people, right, stuck here. And then from then on, how can we help the most vulnerable? Because that's the project. And try to get them all of the services they need, and then the legal case. The legal case would be to hopefully get them into the United States in a parole situation. But how to do that? I mean, everybody's vulnerable, and that's hard. It's like playing God. I will take you, but
exactly.
I won't take you. And
And that's the thing. Do a pan. Go back to that dog.
Wow, that guy, that would be a good workout.
Yeah, right? It's like with that Santa paddleboarding, the original Santa paddleboarding.
Yep. Can you imagine you're coming from Honduras, you have crossed up through Guatemala, you come to the Suchiate River, and you're thinking, okay, I'm in
Mexico. And I mean, it isn't going to end between the corrupt governments and the continued climate degradation.
Migration shouldn't end. Why should it? Human beings have migrated since the dawn of humanity. This is our basic human right.
beep, beep. Why won't they open the door? Excuse us.